Hello and welcome to Critical Tumble, where a bunch of longtime friends and internet nerds transcend geography through the power of Discord to play Dungeons and Dragons. And once again, really not do very well on saving throws versus frightened, charmed, or generally Once again, I am so sorry, but we're going to be trying to fix that, or at least make it slightly better. Previously, after the almost successful freeing of the Protector Azamar from house arrest, and because you did succeed there, the subsequent shit wasn't exactly your fault. Yeah, unfortunately, the actual big bad of that particular scenario made some deals with Asmodeus. She and her entire coterie became erinynes. There are now 3 Azamar, only one of which is a protector, in the entire world. And according to the vampire that they beat into the ground and then interrogated later, they're using that plus a certain amount of bottled sunlight and gods only know what else to turn the souls, or the life energy, more like, of those Azamar into the kind of radiant energy bomb that the quick flight diminutives created. And one time they created it for you. Apparently they couldn't get, for some reason they couldn't get the means to actually make it, or the instructions or anything like that. So they went about it a bit. And those of you who are big on insight are probably getting Jessamy going, well, if they keep saying that the Azamar are needed in the fight against a tainted Tiamat, well, let's let them be useful, shall we? And did this bullshit. But because the fight with the vampire and various spawn was, I mean, it ended as it should, with eventually dead vampire. But it got some people bit. And then there was a pit fiend. And the only reason anybody came off as well as they did after that was because they happened to have a wizard who is truly remarkable at Hold Monster. But that was the point at which Barnabas, who was affected by the fear effect thing of it, is kind of going, this is bullshit, and Alice flagging up, Remy has a counter charm tattoo. Maybe we should get Barnabas one of those. Because while Alice does have she can do counter charm, I think everyone would agree that her predominant usefulness in the field is turning things into sashimi.
Mm-hmm.
So, but before that, a lot of people got their blood kind of drained, and it is market challenge time at the moment at the Street of Plenty in Enbeer, and the challenge item is burgers. So far we've had bison burger, spicy burger, and mushroom burger, which, given the vegetarian options that were quoted to Rylan, you had Rylan going, I finally understand why everybody raves about this place now. Clarity, as I recall, was very curious about the meat that isn't. And yeah, nobody actually gave me any particular indication of what kind of burger their characters would particularly go for, but I'm going to make guesses. Yes, you did. It was like weeks ago, and it's been a difficult couple.
Yeah, it was right after session.
Of weeks. Yeah. That's it's usually better to flag that up before, but in which case, since you're the one who absolutely knows what it is that they want, and checking back on the text would interfere with the recording, you're going to describe exactly what you find in a stall about three down from Hazel's spicy burger place. As I recall, it was something with chorizo in it.
Well, it's
Well,
like chorizo, but not.
yeah,
So
because I
it's
remember
a
I
mixture.
looked up how to make them at the time. I actually
Yeah,
have the recipe around somewhere. Actually,
yeah, it came with a recipe, so it was pretty cool. So it's a burger that has instead of just beef, it's mixed with like a sweet and spicy pork sausage, um, and like that's kind of pinkish in color. It has red onion and lettuce, but also mayonnaise and banana ketchup and
yes,
pickled green papaya.
the chori burger, which
Yes.
you wind up with a halfling couple that seem to run a very interesting looking little restaurant behind their stall, which is honestly by and large, if there was the Philippines in this world, it'd be kind of like that. But that's apparently their take on burgers. So Clarity looking at that like, ooh,
Yeah, Clarity kind of followed the smell over there and was like, smells a bit like things that my foster parents used to cook, but not.
if I hear by your accent that you're Baronsphere, they may have heard a copy of a copy of a copy of the original recipe for these, but mostly actually they come from our take on what they do with Orixie up in up in the wastes of Almaver.
That very interesting, and I would like it very much.
And they gesture at the condiments in case there's any that you might not want, but your clarity, so probably just everything. And just you little slider.
She takes a bite and she gets this sort of I can see through time.
I had a feeling.
Dating new people.
And she's just like chewing on it very slowly, like trying to savor it. And she's like, "You have to try this." And it's different, but it makes me homesick. But I don't understand. It's very good.
She got as far as you have before Barnabas was trying.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't tried one, but from the sounds of it, it's a very exotic tasting sounding burger, which I'm going to try. For every month, I try a new recipe or two.
Yeah, it would be like a little bit salty, a little bit spicy, sweet, and a little bit sour, kind of all at once with the beef there.
I imagine that Hazel has to try this, and given how much Clarity likes it, why do I see Hazel going like, where could I find a recipe for these?
Would not surprise me.
There's just that sort from like behind Clarity, just elf tilt into view.
If not Hazel, Alice would probably think of that as well.
To be fair, Alice knows not to ask perfect strangers about their personal recipes, so she would probably be making mental notes of what I need to look for in Kitchen Witchery, which you wanted to go to anyway because Hazel wanted books on fermentation, pickling, and that sort of thing. So yes, Hazel's doing Lean.
Slowly leaning into views.
And of course,
processing.
it's something Clarity-like, something that is delicious, made by halflings. This is hazel bait.
Just look to Alice and go, help.
Do you want the burger or do you want the recipe for the burger?
Yes.
We'll try the burger first.
And yeah, just full.
By the time you've got that far, the woman is actually handing over one of the little sliders of that. So, yeah, even for Hazel, who's eaten and started to learn to cook, there's no way she can figure out how they made all these flavors work so well together.
Yeah. If there were any way beyond the foom to indicate Hazel is processing, it would be happening right now. Possibly brain overheating. Y'all can just see almost see steam coming out of her ears if he attempts to think.
The gentleman says, for everything that you see here, you would need to look in several different cookbooks. For the patties, for the mayonnaise, for the various other bits and pieces. And then you put them all together.
Again, gears, head spinning.
Hazel, we've got a project.
And you guys wanted to go to Kitchen Witchery anyway. The halfling woman is, are you all right?
Yes.
I think this one needs a drink. We have an individual who makes cider about 3 stalls down and across the way. Mm-hmm. I think this one would probably like theirs just because she seems to like the interesting and intriguing.
Surprise me, cider?
Surprise me cider, surprise me wine, surprise me beer.
Rocket.
Holding on.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's a contested athletics check, you two.
Yeah, I'm gonna win this.
Alice's not interfering. Alice's had a hard time lately.
You jinxed the win into existence.
I'm gonna hand a fate this just on the basis of, oh Christ. So yeah, can Clarity make me a dex save, please?
What? Well, it's terrible for me.
For you, yeah, it is. Which is why the thing is, you grabbed Hazel by the back of the armor, and you were expecting to get tugged, but sort of the front of the collar hits Hazel in the trachea. So you get, and she winds up going backwards with her feet still going, and she does land directly on top of you.
Incoming half health. I apologize.
Alice is just
Poor coordination on my part. I apologize too.
Alice just kind of grabs hold of Hazel. Lift. Now, I understand you're excited, but can you walk over there like a normal person?
Okay.
Yeah, so there's Ava and Alice on either side of Hazel, just like, come on, you.
entirely too stunned by that whole encounter.
Yeah, that whole particular spot is apparently where the accoutrements are being sold, the things that aren't burgers. So you've got various different kinds of fries. I mean, various different kinds of potato fries. You've got potato waffles. Not sure how anybody made those, but they did. You've got sweet potato fries. You've got some fries that are apparently cheese, so basically halloumi fries. And you have various drinks, and the apparently the surprise me drinks have set up in front of, yeah, it not only does sell its own wares, but a floor above there's the kinds of things you need to make homebrew. So apparently they do this as a sideline to show what you can make with their wares. And yeah, everything is in brown bottles. The labels are... I mean, the ones at the front are pretty much average. I mean, obviously there's apple, there's pear, there's strawberry, blackberry, both wine and cider. But there is another sign next to, just sort of on one end of the booth, which is, if you do not see a fruit you want, ask.
Yeah, this has set Hazel to surprise me mode, so I don't think she particularly has any one selection. It's just things here. Yes?
All the fruits.
Yeah. These are more halflings. You're pretty sure they're siblings. They're fairly elderly for halflings. And one of them looks over at you and looks at you all and goes, "Oh, it's the heroes." We're not hearing you, Marion. And still... yeah, there you go. No, now we're not.
You're either getting really badly noise gated or it's just outright dead.
There we go.
Yes. Yeah, whatever you're doing right now, we just heard you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we can barely hear you. Like, I think it's part of it, it's picking it up, but it's not picking up your full intonation.
It basically, whenever you drop below a certain volume, it's cutting it out because it thinks your background noise.
I just have to try and project a bit.
That is always a good thing to do, yes. Anyway, you were saying.
I guess.
Well, I mean, obviously. So, what can we do for you?
I think some of us wanted to try some of your wares.
Yes, this one that is staring at us. One of the gentlemen is going, yes, the one who likes the spicy.
We also heard tell of surprise me juice.
Not so much juice, cider, wine, beer, mead.
Cider.
Can't even words correctly. I want to try all of it, but I think trying all of it might be a bad plan.
There is such a thing as alcohol poisoning, yes.
think the only thing I can do is just ask you to surprise me.
At which point Alice is, it says if you're looking for something specific, ask. How are you on pomegranates and or frostberries? Well, not all in the same drink. The flavor profiles are somewhat different, but we have about 3 different kinds of pomegranate ciders with things. Frostberry doesn't go so well for cider, but we have a particularly good pressing of frostberry wine. Did we cause a problem with that one? She's looking at us very strangely. Pointing at Hazel slightly concernedly.
Expression is
the
veering into.
opposite, actually.
Sorry, Rylan, what was that?
Quite the opposite, actually.
It looks like
You
her,
were just adding to the excitement.
that's why it looks like her brain is cooking.
Yes. That's how you know it's working. The excitement, I mean.
Okay.
Just this very squeaky, I need it.
the the frostberry wine or one of the pomegranate ciders?
Yes.
Alice says just start on the frostberry wine.
One thing at a time, Hazel.
And cup. Pour. Hand.
Already trying it.
Yeah, I mean,
There is zero information.
yeah, it's, and you already liked frostberries, and wine is a kind of a special treat for you, because they don't make it very often in Baronsvere at all. Your parents will occasionally do elderberry or dandelion and burdock, but this is an entirely different thing. The halflings are looking slightly afraid of Hazel at this point.
Just delighted gibbering noises that occasionally veer into exclamations and halfling of absolute fucking apoplectic joy.
You speak halfling? You speak halfling?
Pause. Yep.
Alice says, like, because she's not thinking that much further than this frostberry wine is delightful. She was raised by halflings. Oh.
And he's a hard heart.
They look at each
One
other.
of my parents was from was Quick like an entire like clan at this point.
To be honest, you don't know. You just know cousins upon cousins in Egriff. So the
A
name,
lot of cousins and egg.
the quick
flights.
yeah, the quick flight. You do know that the quick flight name is more recognized in Equitas than the Hearthheart name is, because the Hearthheart clan was Baronsvere.
Our clan, but that's Baronsvere. Okay. Don't know if they're a clan, but quick flights.
They're a very spread out clan, but yes. And one of them is going, I think there's a Hearthheart in Demille. And there's one that's here. She tends to wander around the Street of Knowledge. But so many quick flights in Egriff. So many.
Yeah. For a while, to including the one that started the diminutives. But that she moved, and then mom.
Alice is, as far as I recall, it wasn't so much she moved. She was just having adventure. Happened to meet your mama, um, and started the company around that. And then they did what they did for like a couple of decades and decided to move to Baronsvere instead of staying here, or some province here. Well, that explains
Yeah.
why we haven't heard that much about that one. So, are we only getting this one drunk?
Mm,
I'll try the wine as well, please.
Which ones? We have many.
The frostberry.
Yeah. I'm wondering if you've got something in a passion fruit cider. I never.
Ooh.
They look at each other and they're like, I thought you were crazy when you decided to make that. Well, there's something for everyone. That's the point. Nice. Bit of mango in there, too. Yes, there is.
Can I try a bit of that?
This pours for you, too. But it's apparently 2 coppers a cup, so Alice just like puts 3 silver on the bar, and whatever we don't use, keep the change. Alice looks over at Remy and is going, What are you after here?
I'm, not. I don't think I'm much of a wine person, but I'll try the Frostberry.
And the halflings look at Remy. They fold their arms. It's even more clear when they in unison fold their arms. Going, pick something you actually like.
She will look over the menu.
Unfortunately, she's looking for a menu, and Alice is sort of looking over and then going, do you have something that's just basically has a mulled apple cider note to it? Oh, definitely. And punk.
Thank you.
You have choice paralysis, my love.
Do you have wild berry cider?
We have about 8 different varieties of wild berry cider. Do we just give you one that's random?
Sure.
Yeah, bunk. Yeah, what you get is, by and large, it's sort of a red berry thing. So you're catching strawberry, you're catching raspberry, you're catching cranberry. Looking over at Clarity.
Okay, great. It's working. Surprise me cider, please.
Well, I mean, it's not technically a menu option, but we could just eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and not tell you what it is until it's in front of you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They do that, and the cider comes in amber glass bottles, so punk. They've actually taken the step of taking the label off so that you're definitely surprised. And what you got is There's definitely a certain note of pear to it, but there's also something a little not quite citrusy, but tart in a different kind of way. A kind of a berry tartness, but you can't quite identify which kind of berry that is.
Tasting pear, but there's a berry flavor. I can't quite put my finger on.
No, that's because we have a cousin in Agrif. That's how we know about all the quick flight cousins. They went to the Academy for Botany, and they came up with a type of berry. It's wonderful, but they haven't named it yet.
Berry.
It makes wonderful wine, and it pairs well, no pun intended, with pears, less so with apples in a cider, but we're not allowed to name it anything because they really want to be the one who names their own creation, which we can't really blame them for.
Mm-hmm. It's delicious.
And we try not to talk that up too much, though. They're just going to get a swelled head otherwise.
Should we try something else then?
Well, I mean, Cherie and Alice had actually been looking at the various fries and things, with Cherie apparently flagging up various bits on the stalls that might be of interest, and Cherie kind of pipes up with, "You probably don't want to spend all afternoon drinking, because we still have some things to do this evening. It might be good to keep a clear head for that." I'll tell you what, when things are a little more settled and the rest of it is dealt with, I will get a surprise me sampler pack, and you can come around to mine and drink to your heart's content. But for now, who wants the cheese fries? Yeah, for most of you guys, it's the what? It's like you know the potato sticks.
Mhm.
Well, it's like that, but it's cheese.
I stand by my wanting it.
Yeah, and Shuri just hands him a little cone of them. I did figure that. They have various different kinds. There's various things in regular potato. There's sweet potato, and a couple of different kinds of squash that they've given the same treatment as they would potatoes. So lots of diversity here. We've been doing various bits of discussion, and I think we've come up with the things that we've been trying to figure out what you all would vote for the when you're done sampling your way around, just to make sure you don't overfill yourselves. And for you two, gesturing in Remy and Ava direction, I have a feeling I know what you two would want. Hands out cheese fries to anyone who wants one, and is going, "Come along." And yeah, and again, Barnabas is seeing the "get the fuck out of my way" walk.
Barnabas is pretty much already at the following the "get the fuck out of my way" walk without thinking about it. It's kind of an autonomous reflex at this point.
What she gestures to Ava towards is actually venison burgers. It seemed your sort of thing. That particular restaurant also does the fancier game birds, partridge, that sort of thing. The individual cooking the burgers is human, older, kind of beat up looking. And the accent is actually somewhere Baronsphere. How can I help you? Why are you looking at me like that, Miss Big Green Bow?
Your accent?
Ah, Baronsphere accent. Goldendale, unless I've missed my guess.
Dead on, yeah.
Formerly Iron Crown.
Ah,
But when
sorry
things,
about that.
well, things were bad. I couldn't really take any more. I managed to get down to the Star Coast and bounced over to Equitas via one of the Moskoy settlements. So,
That you got out, it's kind of exploded.
well, I mean, I got out like decades ago, so it exploded.
It exploded.
Alice is only the castle exploded.
Not the entirety of the.
Can I hope that the king was in it?
Yeah.
It's a really long story, which I will sing for you at some point. But it's not entirely safe, but it's probably safer than it was. It just needs a lot of rebuilding. But technically they have a new king. I'm good here, thank you. You're definitely not from Baronsphere. Oh, hell no. And the rest of you are all very quiet.
That's normal for us.
Elven
Get
wild.
unlocked by these things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You, sir, gesturing at Barnhurst's director, are definitely not from Baronsphere.
You would be correct, sir.
You're definitely not from Equitas either.
It's a long story.
Actually, looks over at Alice. The short version, every universe has an egg graph. Oh, shit. Yeah, no, that covers it. So does anybody anybody want Baronsphere style venison burgers?
I absolutely do.
Yes. Very yes. Very yes. And just the hazel lead is happening again.
I can't. Please don't drool on the food. Yeah, you're being put. Well, no, it's because Hazel was leaning in, so you got Ava sort of pulling her back a bit. Yeah, a Baronsphere venison burger is with chopped mushrooms, chopped wild onions, all sautéed, obviously. Squish, 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 squish. And Cherie is. Could you do one with just the mushrooms and the onions for, or are you all right with venison, Rylan?
You know, I normally avoid it, but I think I'm okay to try this. Just to see.
Yeah, Alice was like, I kind of figured that mostly you avoided the livestock meats mostly. What I've noticed. You've been more or less okay with rabbit, venison, etc., depending on your mood. But yeah, I can see that you like the gamier meats. That's valid. Yeah, for Ava, it doesn't quite taste like home, but that's because most of your meals were far too frou-frou. But there were a couple of times when one of the younger kitchen help in training was like, you want lunch, I want lunch, you everything is kind of being cooked for a large banquet here. Let me put you together a venison sandwich or something. And it's kind of like that. And for Remy, basically Cherie gestures you at, and this, it looks pretty standard, but you seem to, you recall the bison burgers with the cheeses. These stacks are actually patties as well, so it's, what you wind up with is a fairly large burger with like 3 different meat patties separated out with bacon and cheese. This is meat lovers' insanity.
Sounds good.
You do have another Goliath at this one, just going, I take it that we have some meat lovers here.
Yes.
Okay, this, you'll notice they're very large. We are this is the dire meat stall. You may have heard. So the bacon is from dire boar. We do 3 patties, and you can choose between, not so much with cow, but it's dire ox, dire bison, dire moose, dire elk, dire yak, and interspersed with the... and for those of you who are more into poultry, etc., we have rock, because there's not a dire equivalent of that, and we have dire goose. We have a lot of dire goose. Dire goose have to be eliminated before they cause problems on purpose. Peace is never an option.
Yeah. And Alice is just put 3 of your favorite meats together for this one. And yeah, you wind up with, it starts off about there, and then Goliath squish. It still winds up pretty thick, but it's one of those, it started as a Dagwood sandwich and then compressed to something you could actually get your mouth around. Cherie is actually looking curiously at Barnabas just to see what she's been particularly interested in, what he's been interested enough to jump on, so to speak. Because, this is it's a whole part of Ambier's love. Food is love language.
I'll go with the dire ox, yak, and was the geese an option?
Yes, the geese was an option. They just didn't mix all of it together because they assumed poultry was kind of off to the side a bit. But if you want to mix them together,
and you know what? I'll throw the dire geese on there too.
That's an interesting combination.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and you wind up with, this one's a little harder to compress because the dire goose isn't a ground meat patty. It's an
Mm-hmm.
actual. I mean, it used to be a very large breast, apparently, and it's had to be cut rather smaller, so squish. Dire goose, much like regular goose, is very rich and incredibly fatty. In that sort of the fat juices are the best part kind of way.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Hmm. There's something there. Needs to be worked on, but there's definitely something there.
Yeah,
This is delicious. Thank you.
it sure is. If I'm ever to make a family meal for all of you, I should probably roast a dire goose. You all seem to have the appetite for it. And Woofles and Alexi can eat what you don't.
That sounds delightful.
Oh, let's. When you have a bit longer of a breather.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you make your way around the various stalls. Burgers in any configuration you can think of. There's bean burger. There's tofu burger. There's. Clarity never gets a full explanation of it's like meat, but it isn't. All you know is that it's a couple of apparently alchemists from Egref who created this, and yeah, it's got the texture of meat. And it tastes meaty, but it's not meat. They have conjured it or something.
Of course, it's Agraf. I can't figure out. But I have so many questions for when I get to Agraf again.
I mean,
Right on the
that
list.
seems to be fairly normal.
The woman who's it's actually not that human woman, not that old, and going, well, I'm not going to tell you exactly how I make it. It is a proprietary recipe.
And that I understand that, but
I know, I
should
know.
things.
I know, that is why I went to school in Egref. I wanted to know things too. I was not entirely trying to make this when I came up with it. It was sort of a personal project that went tastily wrong.
I mean, better than the alternative. It is tasty.
Yes, except Professor August yelled at me. In so much as Professor August yells at anybody.
What?
I was trying to make a covering for her assistant that was less hard. Alice says her assistant has a covering. Her assistant is not human or humanoid or alive in the same way that meat people are. I'm gonna hand of fate this one. Yeah, Barnabas knows about this. Barnabas knows about Warforged.
Oh, is their assistant a Warforged?
That's not the name we use because she was not technically forged in war, but
Mm-hmm.
automaton feels cold is all.
Yeah. Oh, covering. Oh, I see. So
Forged people? What?
go.
It's
Automaton?
something like that. That is a better word. But Professor August, is any word that might unperson, because back in the day, not all that long ago, but some little while ago, um, Steele is the name. Was sort of a rescue.
Oh.
The one who made her didn't like that she had a mind and a soul and a will of her own, so was going to take her part.
Well, then I'm glad she got rescued. Then, 'cause that's some.
Well, part of it was her rescuing herself because she had combat protocols and they were apparently pretty devastating, especially when you're dealing with somebody who doesn't get very much affected by poison traps or any of that sort of thing.
So the the so this was originally supposed to be like an organic covering for them.
Yes.
Living tissue over artificial metallic endoskeletons. That could be scary. Nice for them, but
Well, it did not quite work as intended, so now there is meat that isn't. I mean, technically, that is how they came up with the various artificial meat substitutes. Apparently, they were trying to make upholstery.
Oh, the fake leather thing.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing. They were trying to make upholstery. It didn't work out. It turned out tasty. What are you gonna do? Sometimes science is accidents. That's why we have EGREF and the Izzet League. So yeah, eventually you can probably come back later if you want to, but you've hit the best spots. You're probably getting a little bit full now. This will definitely tide you over until a late dinner when you still have shit to do and plans to make for tomorrow, because obviously there's shit going on. But your necessities are twofold. Necessity one, and to a point necessity, you had things to get at Kitchen Witchery, and let's face it, Samuel and Lila are charming to deal with anyway. And you need to, if Rylan has the spell slots for it, need to make a quick hop, skip, and a jump. Probably doing this first because things in Belarus close, unlike anything in Anbeard, and wanted to look for a counter charm tattoo. So Alice is just like, if we've had our fill for now, I'm going to make a suggestion for course of action going forward. I'm sure you've kind of missed this. Quick trip to Belarus. Probably at least say hi to the Crestwinds while Barnabas is getting his counter charm tattoo, because we know they take a little while. Assuming, Brylan, you've got all the spell oomph you need. And of course, now you've been to Belarus, so you can choose which way we're going. And then we come back here for the bits of kitchen witchery that Hazel and Clarity wanted to look at, because we need some decompression time. And then pass back through here on the way to the Bone Orchard to pick up more bits and pieces from, because we paid our 2 gold, we might as well get our money's worth out of it. Pick up our selection of sliders for, probably pick up something for the Mobius twins too. I'm sure they'd appreciate it. And then head up to the Bone Orchard with that to try to figure out a plan of action for dealing with what Jessamy's up to, because we have so much to talk about there. Does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, Rylan, sorry for volunteering you for transport
It's all right.
services.
It's okay. It's okay.
I figured that, but it's polite anyway. So yeah, which are you doing? Teleportation circle or teleport? Because you probably, if it's the circle, you probably don't want to draw it right in the middle of
Right here.
yeah.
I'm trying to remember how we got back from Belarus through the doors last time. Right. I'm trying to remember what part of Belarus the circle is in.
There's a sort of separate section off the market that because there are two circles that these guys excuse me know about. One you don't use because it's the emergency one under the in the basement of the Shrine to Palor, but there's one sort of sandwiched between where the mercenaries live and the market, which is probably your best bet there. And you've now seen enough of Belarus that if you just wanted to use the straight up teleport, you could do that. The reason you couldn't do the circle the last time, the reason you had to do the circle last time was because you
Was
were the only,
unfamiliar area.
yeah, you were the only one who'd never been to Belarus.
In that case, it's probably quicker to just do a straight link over.
Yeah, let's get out of the main.
Yes.
At least get out of the main traffic area for that, because people take that kind of weird. In fact, you probably point us to. I mean, you've seen the street near Crestwin's Bakery. Probably a good place. It's a familiar one for sure.
Certainly a familiar place enough.
And while you're heading out of the main traffic flow, Alice is clearly doing a sending for Corey.
And yeah, simple as that. Just
Yep, and then point.
Done.
Okay. Barnabas, you remember where the tattoo place is because you've still got your fire resistant stuff. Just give me a second. Rummage through her bag of holding, and she just keeps pulling out bits. Everything you've killed in the last little while, she has bits from in there. So it's literally just dragon claws, dragon scales, dried bits of you're not sure what. And by the time she's done, you're kind of holding this pretty large pile. If you
This is rather impressive.
well, it's a people thing. If you give them those, it might not even cost you.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Not a problem. So we'll quickly deal with Barnabas first. Cherie's coming with him just to, if nothing else, to help with the bargaining. So yeah, when you turn up, the white-skinned tiefling is sort of going, well, that's a thing. Bits to make tattooing don't normally walk in here on their own.
Well,
There's a person behind there. Hi.
hi. I would lower this, but it's a little tricky.
There's a
thank
counter right here. You can put it there.
Thank you.
The older elf, who's another one of the staffers, who digs through. Well, you must be saving up for something big.
Well, I'm in the market. I need to get something to help me stop getting my brain whammied. I've been hit with charm and fear, and I'm
Oh,
sick.
you want a counter charm tattoo?
Yes.
Doesn't your other
Yes.
the other combine person have one? We need to get her
Remy
back.
does.
We need to get her back in here because we've tweaked the design a little bit. It doesn't require. It's better for charmed because it doesn't require activation in the same way.
Oh.
I mean, we can get yours done. I mean, you guys are still at the Crestwinds, so Barnabas will be telling you about that later. But this will definitely cover the alterations to hers and yours, with something left over. We'll give you an IOU or something.
Actually, Barnabas looks at Sherry. Anything you might be in the market for?
Not really. I mean, I don't. If I was going to go for anything, it'd probably be something a little more decorative. And besides, no, I'm not the adventurer. If that's going to anyone, that goes on the people who are on the front lines for this every day. Besides, most of this I could do anyway with a little bit of preparation.
And there's a moment where Sherry can see it, and Barnabas is like, must keep face still at thought of decorative.
and
In public, no.
well, to be fair, your face is pretty expressive, and they have stuff to set up. So before you head off with them, because they do have their setups going, their designs are very useful. Amber is better for decorative. I'll show you some of the places on the Street of Love and Beauty sometime. Maybe you can help me pick one.
Yes.
Off you go. Go in.
And he's not even concerned about I'm getting tattooed again through my fur because his Sherry Love and Beauty decorative tattoos completely.
Why do you think she did it?
He'll probably realize that later.
Yes.
Much later.
Oh, I'm sure. So yeah, well, Barnabas is having that done. You enter Crestwinds Bakery, and Corey, you're getting to the point where you've got kids taking some of the day olds, and as Corey is about to hand some to a 10-year-old human boy, actually just shoves it at Amel, literally vaults the counter, and whoomph, Remy hug.
Aww. Remy will return the hug.
Well, I think you must have had a hard little while.
Yeah, we've been busy.
Yes, you look a bit pale. Well, paler than usual.
I'm okay. I promise.
I'm going to make you a fortifying cup of tea anyway.
That would be very nice.
Right about that point, you've got the tappity, but it soon gets nearly drowned out by galump, because Lend is still there. And Puffy does the usual skid onto Remy's feet. Lend just kind of leaps at Alice and gets caught. Woof. Hello, fuzzball.
Aww. Hi, Puffy.
And the little tail just.
Both of them are projectiles.
Well,
Pick up Puffy.
Puffy is a bit more of a hockey puck. They're getting along wonderfully, if that's of any consolation to you. And they definitely know who their people are. So, what brings you so very quickly and brief stop through in Belarus of all places? I mean, the attack you were talking about isn't coming, like, now, is it?
No. Barnabas is getting a magic tattoo.
That urgently?
Well, it was he got hit by a spell that the one that I got, that's a counter charm tattoo, so
Ah,
we're all very keen that that doesn't happen again.
understandable. He's... I don't think I want to think about that too hard, but Hazel, we have something rather specifically for you. Hold on. Near Amel is, she's been working on everybody's favorites, or trying to determine them. And Hazel's was apparently one of the easiest. This kid's back with sort of a breadbasket looking thing filled with turnovers. Try one.
Doing so. This is Remy's family. I comply.
Frostberry preserves in there.
Both. And there's that. The I can see through time look is back. As is the near.
We couldn't. Fresh frostberries are a little difficult to come by, so they're on our deluxe menu, so to speak. But we could get the preserves in.
Not hypersonic, but just sort of a squee gibber.
I will assume that was a thank you and say you're welcome. If anybody else has any particular favorites, just speak up. Looking pointedly at Alice, who is kind of pointedly ignoring it.
Remy nudges her.
Just getting a look like, no.
Stubborn.
Well, I'm going to go and get tea, and Amel, you want to all flip the closed sign? We were about there anyway. The 10-year-old boy with his little bag of, not really sure what's in there, but day-olds anyway, is still watching, and when the show is apparently over, just goes, "Aw." Out. Near. Sweet kid, but seems to think everything is there for his personal entertainment. So while your mother is making tea, the pallor, what are we talking about here? Brass arrow to brass arrow.
There was a vampire recently, but that's been dealt with, and
Alice, and several spawn.
yes.
Ray got bitten by several spawn, but we dealt with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to judge, daughter mine. I just wanted to know. Fortifying tea, definitely a good idea. None of you
Yes.
seem particularly hungry, except for the half-elf who's currently nearly elbow deep in the turnover basket. But no, that's fine. Keep doing that. Corey will be thrilled.
Maybe some cookies for the road, but yeah.
Don't tell your mother that. She will start baking something fresh the entire time. And Alice says, well, the tattoo is probably going to take like at least an hour, so she's probably got time. And Corey literally leans out. Wait, I have time to make more things? If you start now, yes. And she sort of goes through each of you. Eeny, meeny, miny. Stops at Rylan. I have an idea. But yes, we're going to throw in some chocolate chip ones for you, my Remy. And
Thank you.
tea tray, and then near. She has her Hazel moments, doesn't she? Yes, probably. Just thank you for not talking with your mouth full. Corey takes issue with that. Swallow. There you go.
Really good. It's really, really, really good.
She'd very much prefer to make them with fresh frost berries, but yeah. And since we're about that time, we will sort of skate over the hour spent with the tattoo over break. Although I will say that about a half an hour into Barnabas's tattooing things, Corey comes out with a batch of fresh chocolate chip cookies and what Rylan and Hazel will both recognize as maple hazelnut cookies made with acorn flour. Which is basically Ryland's whole... They don't do a lot of sweets in the Elven Wild, but that's one of them. That's actually the main one of them. And you've got to imagine getting acorn flour here must be a bitch.
Yeah, because you said Belarus is like coastal.
Yep.
And so the nearest woodland for anything of that nature would be just...
Amber.
It's not only coastal, it's southern coastal.
Yep, it's basically the nearest spot with anything that might have acorns is Amber. We lost Noms.
God, so all the nearby wood is just mangrove for days from the sound of that.
And there's some forest sort of a little further north of Belarus, which is actually the coastal city, but a lot of it's pine.
Oh, good God. Now I'm seeing what you mean.
Yeah, so we'll deal with the response to that after break, and when I have switched off for breaks, I will type to Noms, because we seem to have lost him. Oh dear. Anyway, see you in a few minutes. And we're back with Rylan and Hazel being provided with acorn flour cookies with maple and hazelnuts, and Remy getting her favorite chocolate chip cookies, which, because Corey basically baked them on the spot because she gets to bake for you people, were still warm and gooey, melty, chocolatey. They should still be relatively warm when Barnabas gets there. Which takes a little while because, obviously you're trying to... You've got to deal with the fur as well as the skin. But, yeah, when you get the chance to look in the mirror, you do see there's a minor difference to it than Remy's. And they do say... If she happens to be in town, just let her know that we can, with all of this, we can definitely do some alterations.
I absolutely will. Thank you.
And we'll write out an IOU for anything that's left over. So. Oh, hey, your friend the Azamar. How's her wing tattoo going?
I think it's going well. Wait. Hang on. Oh, she had the tattoo out of character. She had a tattoo giving her flight before I think she actually had the wings.
She had a flight tattoo right where her wings now are that allowed her to cast the fly spell, which was fly for 10 minutes. And yes, Barnabas did know that, but also it also they did some alterations to that as well. So she had what looked sort of like her regular original ethereal wings. But when the real ones came, they ripped right through the tattoos. So that she literally said, "My tattoos are a wreck. I paid so much for these things."
Actually, Barnabas is like, wait a minute, no. It worked great until she got actual wings. Long story.
The elderly elven woman is, Aasimar feathers. What couldn't I do with those?
Hmm.
About panic.
You'd have to tell me because I don't know.
Just about anything involving radiant energy.
Hmm.
There's in fact 3 designs that I've been thinking of, but I just never had the right radiant spark because unicorn hair doesn't quite do it, and coatls are persnickety about that kind of thing. And don't even get me started on Hollyphonts.
Well, since I'm going to be passing along to Remy that she can get her tattoo touched up and whatnot, there's a good chance you'll see Alice as well.
That is a worrisome smile.
Oh boy.
And Barnabas is like, oh no. Whoa, I stepped in it now.
Yeah, Cherie is just. We'd better go because it would appear that with that incentive you're going to stay open until they get here. We'll some of us will see you shortly. It turns Barnabas around and yeah, you're just being shoved out of the room.
Unresisting.
Yeah, I figured that. That's why, because Cherie's strength is zip. So just and once the door closes behind, you know that's going to get annoying for the poor girl.
As soon as it came out of my mouth, yes, I'll bow and scrape when we see it.
And yeah, you head back to Crestwin's Bakery, where Hazel and Rylan are probably going, yee.
It's both a mix of Yay and Rylan being like, where in the hell did you get the acorn flower for this?
And Corey is pretty astute about that kind of thing. They do acorn flour and amber. It's a little expensive, but definitely worth it for some recipes. Given you're pretty good as far as perception goes, I figure you have about enough insight to be like, we did this specially for you guys.
And it is greatly appreciated.
And yeah, somewhere in the middle of that, sort of ironically sheepish looking Barnabas and a Cherie who's wearing that "it's a good thing I love him" expression.
It's not going to be the first time people see that particular tableau, and it's not going to be the last.
That's an expression.
Yeah. Good news, bad news. Good news, Remy. They want you to stop back in because can touch up the counter charm tattoo to make it easier or not needed to be triggered or something. There's an upgrade to it.
Oh.
Yeah, so
bad news-
apparently you used to have to tap it to make it work, but that's not helpful for charmed. So they've done a change to the design that will allow it to kick in when you have been charmed.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think they said you still have to kick it on when you're frightened, but you can still do that. It's only when you are incapable of acting activating it. But yes, it does mean you'll have to come in for a touch-up. And then she looks at Barnabas and then, I've smoothed the path this far, but I'm not fucking saying it.
I also mentioned one of the proprietors asked about your flight tattoo, Alice,
Oh no.
and I mentioned that it had worked great until you got your actual wings, and
Oh no.
she got like disturbingly excited at the thought of Asimov feathers. I'm really sorry. I knew it was stupid the second I said it. I'm really sorry.
Well, I'm not going to put myself into her path of temptation because that seems unfair. I'm going to. I think I'm going to perch on one of the airship towers for a little while, so I'll meet you in front of the Bravo's boast in an hour.
Oh,
All
okay.
right.
Just tell them she was busy. I said she might be stopping by. Just tell them she was busy. I'm so sorry. I'm such an idiot.
Reach. And leaves, and Corey's like, she's having some issues, isn't she?
There's been a lot happening.
Yeah.
And Cherie looks at everybody involved and then turns to Corey and goes, I might regret saying this, but I'm not entirely positive. But it feels like you should know at least this much. She is currently the only member of her subspecies remaining, so we haven't really had the time to address how she feels about that. So that was probably about the second or third worst thing that could have happened. And Mel and Corey both look at Barnabas.
Yeah.
Corey reaches for the bag of chocolate chip cookies, takes one, and basically stuffs it in Barnabas's mouth.
No resistance
Yes.
at all.
It really is. Yes, as long as the cookie is in your face, things like that won't be coming out. I'm sure you have lots to do, Remy, but thank you very much for dropping in, and we hope to see you all again soon. I'm going to figure out what her favorites are and do something comforting. And then just does the all the way around hug, 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 hug. Even hugs Barnabas. Even hugs Cherie. And so yeah,
Right.
back off to the to Arcane Inc. And when you walk in, you've got the elderly elven proprietor looking up and then kind of aw at the lack of winged individual. And the white skinned tiefling is, yeah, it's you we actually need because we have way too much in the way of cost here, so we're happy to touch up your counter charm tattoo, and then we're just gonna write some IOUs because you might want something later. I don't know, and I
That's
think
perfect.
I think there was some hopes for a few new designs. I can still do a couple of new designs, but your friend not coming?
She's not going to be able to make it today, unfortunately.
Cherie looks at Remy for a minute, glances at Barnabas, and then turns around to the elderly elf. Well, I understand that your business requires a certain amount of interest in the unusual. We think she might have been off-put by the lack of care that you demonstrated in those wings belonging to a sentient being. So while we're saying, as politely as possible, she's not going to be able to come this time, I can tell you right now that she's not going to come in until she can come in without you getting that look on your face. And Hazel is still with her elves on a case-by-case basis, probably having a little bit of schadenfreude at this elderly elf, so which means she's probably a couple hundred years old, kind of. And the fairy that does the delicate work kind of flies up to Remy, going, "If you want to come this way, we've got everything set up already from him."
Thank you.
And yeah, that doesn't take too long. You might not all want to wait in the shop because it's kind of not that big, and there's a lot of you. And particularly when you have Barnabas, which is...
Oh, Barnabas is the first outside.
And yeah, that finishes up the white-skinned tiefling hands over an IOU, which is good for an obscene amount of gold's worth of tattoos, just saying. Because everything you guys have fought the last while. And that took about a half hour, so you still got a little bit of time to kill before you're supposed to rendezvous with Alice. Not much, but some. Anything you guys want to do in the meantime? Or are you just going to hang out at the Bravo's post for a little while?
Yeah, go and get a drink. Sounds good.
Yeah.
One thing you will notice as you head in that direction is that few more patrols than you remember seeing the last times you've been. It's entirely likely that Hjal Fortinbras did take your warning seriously. And yeah, for Rylan, who's never actually been into the Bravo's boast, and Barnabas, who in character has been, but I don't think I've ever mentioned it, because you guys have been further north most of the time. The Bravo's boast is... Oh, do I still have the map for that one? Have a quick look. Archived. Yes, I do. Yay. Welcome to the Bravo's boast. It's but it's not grotty, but it's fairly simple in what it is and what it does. There's the good part about it is it's got these little sort of almost half walled off rooms, all those ones off on the left hand side.
Mm-hmm.
This is also where you have the twins. The half-elven twins behind the bar. Ones that Hazel tended to like.
Oh boy.
And your
Apologize
and
for
your
staring in advance.
and your half orc doing the food. It's actually surprisingly not that busy right now. The few mercs you do see in there are... There's clearly... They've had some healing, but it hasn't covered everything and they're resting up. So they're clearly on some kind of medical leave. And the few others are the more daring market stall holders, because this is not usually this is a working mercs pub, basically. But right now it's surprisingly quiet.
I've been kept busy.
Wonder how many of them have gone south on warning.
Yeah. This is weird.
Either that or they're patrolling, because it did look like they'd upped security. Like, everyone sit down, I will bring drinks.
Thank you.
And yeah, comes back with, I mean, ale for, basically you've got a pitcher of ale and a pitcher of wine and glasses. I didn't know what everybody favored, so I went for a little of both.
What?
And
Thank you.
nobody has any conversation meantime.
Just like trying to figure out if I guess asking at the bar about the patrols or where all the mercs that usually would be in here are.
Yeah, for once the twins aren't busy. Because every time you've seen them, they've been doing their Tom Cruise routine, blending together drinks, and now they actually have leisure moments. So it's Jazz who sort of leans over to you and goes, "Saw you with the tiefling. Nice."
Yeah. Mm.
She's
How-
cute.
Am I that obvious constantly?
Yes.
To be fair, she's at the bar, and you're probably at one of the bigger tables over there, so it's smart.
Just an out of character, like, yes.
Oh yeah, okay,
you are.
that's cool. You're a cleric of Palor. Your joy shines like the sun that you worship. So
Aw.
I don't know how to take that. That's amazing, but I don't know how to respond to that.
thanks, and then actually ask your question.
Yeah, right. Question. Thank you for that and for the reminder of question. Thanks.
Breathe. Okay, here you go.
Right. It's remarkably empty. Do you know where all of the mercenary companies have gone? Or are they patrolling the city, or are they just...
Well, I know there's more patrols than there were. At least 4 more companies went south, like yesterday, like out of nowhere. And there's about 3 companies that are being vetted by Governor Fortinbras. Now, I'm not supposed to know this, but it might have something to do with something going wrong with Anbir's guard. They're looking for the best of the best of the best, or something.
That's interesting. That's... Wow.
Do you know what's going on in Anbir? I've had like 4 people ask today, and given the lack of crowds, it's kind of a lot.
Is there any way for me to figure out whether or not mentioning anything would be safe right now?
Make me a wisdom check. The thing is that if you say anything, you're confirming what might be rumor. So probably best to not. And in fact, you're probably best to just say you don't know.
Sorry. That's why I'm asking.
Fair enough. Did you know the governor was a dragon? That you can admit. Because, yeah, words got around.
Yeah.
Did you know before we did? You can say yes to that.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a whole thing.
Well, you're adventurers. I guess you're supposed to know that kind of thing. It's just I feel like I missed a trick. I am a barmaid.
Eh,
Anyway, you're probably gonna want an excuse because your friend there, isn't she the governor of Zlato Hour's secretary?
yeah.
Well, she's brought. I just saying she got drinks, and you're gonna want an excuse to be here. So, rummage for the bowl, and empties into it. And honestly, they don't look anything like as nice as the as the ones from the honey roasted nut stall in Amber that Clarity likes to frequent. But bar snacks. I mean,
No.
then again, to be fair, don't know if I want to have those near an Amberian. Our food isn't as good, quite as good as theirs. Blame stasis spells.
Still, thank you.
Later.
And puttering back over.
What was all that in aid of, and why did I get pointed at?
Well, you got recognized.
That doesn't surprise me.
And I was trying to figure out, I guess, more details on where all of the usual mercenaries are.
Did you get anything interesting?
Yes, there's at least 3 companies being vetted about something to do with the Garden Amber.
Oh,
He
well,
actually
that's good.
did that? I thought we were.
And-
Looks at Remy. I thought we were against that because there's a possibility that if they manage to defeat the mercenary forces in the Southern Lands, they're going to try to come up through here, and they need all the mercenaries they can get.
Also sent a
Someone-
bunch.
Someone has to protect Anbeer, and the Southlands is probably a lost cause. It might be better to start fortifying the city and preparing places like Anbeer.
And
They
then
can
looks
fight
at
the
looks at
Southlands
Hazel.
for
Did
years.
you said 3 were being vetted? Did they send more to the Southern Lands?
Just DM, remind.
At
Blank
least
on the number.
at least 4 companies.
4 companies at least, just out of the blue.
So Governor Fortinbras is trying to cover all his bases.
I would hope
Yeah,
so.
all at once.
No wonder it's so empty in here, but you'd think that they try to focus on at least one instead of spreading themselves too thin. Oh well.
I figure, considering how many mercenaries are here on a regular basis, just the ones who are here on leisure time, who knows how many are just out and about. Might have called a bunch back in just for this.
Well, it looks like it because the ones that are usually out and about would be here this time of day.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose
Gods
we'll,
above and below, this is nuts.
well, I suppose we'll just have to see where that pans out. But we can't have any meaningful conversation about it until Alice comes back. We get back to Amber. we do all the rest of the things we meant to do and have our conversation this evening over better than these. Picking up a chunk of walnut.
Brass knows what he's doing, and we do have our own priority.
You have your own priority. I am secretary to one of the governors, which means that my priorities have to be a little bit broader reaching.
Fair point.
I'm not saying you have to be concerned about it, but I certainly do.
We're concerned, it's just...
It's all right.
We can
You are probably
ourselves.
not going to be called to do anything about it.
Well, we'll see. But hopefully not, because we have... others to do already.
Remy, you're pulling a me.
Okay.
And Barnabas just sort of gives Cherie just a quick hug.
Yeah, so Barnabas knows the look that Cherie was giving Remy. That's not a look you want to be on the other end of.
Barnabas is already like, nope, I'm gonna make sure that never gets pointed at me.
And yeah, given this has taken a little while, Alice walks in, and of course the whole problem is she hasn't spent a lot of time in Bellaray since the wings. She is getting looks. Steps over, plonks on. I'm gonna say you picked one of the main tables with the benches because you know Alice can't sit in a normal chair.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I'm grateful for it because it means fewer people are fucking staring at me. And everybody studiously goes back to their drinks. But did we get why there were so many guards patrolling out there and so very few drinking in here?
Yeah.
Some are being vetted for beer.
Oh, so basically from our little trip, everybody got reassigned.
Yes.
Yeah, we have enough to do today. We can worry about that shit tomorrow. Sorry, Cherie, this sounds like it's going to make for like a month of paperwork. More than likely.
He did kind of hit the entirety of the power structure with a mallet, and then the responsibility bat, so...
Yes, and if my negotiations with Governor Zet go well, I'm going to be taking on more of his responsibilities. Because again, given the type he is, I can't expect him to just not be liking solitude anymore. So it's to avoid some of the nonsense that's been happening, it's going to have to be me. So yes, all of this does concern me, because when you're helping govern on a provincial level, you have to look at things at a national level.
And that's only going to expand now.
Well, yes, that's what I mean. In any case, is everybody just about done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And looks at Ryland. Once we leave here, if you would.
Of course.
And, I mean, I'd say for spell slot's sake, which way, but it's not going to matter because you're going to long rest before anything else happens anyway. So,
Precisely.
whichever way, you wind up back in Ambier, and there was going to be a quick trip to Kitchen Witchery because project. So yeah, you walk in and Lila is still at the cash desk and going, "You look less lost this time. You look on a mission now."
Yes. So
There- Yeah, there was the challenge.
Maybe the
Gave
one
us
with
ideas.
maybe the ones with the words. Looking at Clarity. Sorry, it's just I see you're very excited and I'm used to Sam. But if I'm gonna help you, I need all the words in the right order, okay?
Yep, please.
If my
There
there
you
it goes. Well, at the challenge, I had a burger that I really loved. It reminded me of home, and I wanted to get some. Well, we wanted to get some books on how to make the components to it. So maybe we could try
Oh,
rebuilding it.
those are those ones that it came up out of one of the Almaver Agway settlements.
Yes. It's very sort of
No, I know the one you mean. Um, well, I'll let you in on a secret. I have been reverse engineering their food for like 2 years. Because they do some particularly fantastic stuff. There's this chicken dish, this sort of sweet, slightly tart, slightly salty sauce. Really good over jasmine rice and with baked cucumber. There you go.
Yep. Yes. I know exactly the one. My foster mother used to make it all the time, and yes.
Well, that's the kind of thing they do. And given that this is at least the country it actually comes from, I think we're at least. I'm not going to finish that sentence. I'm not Sam. But I will say that that was going to be my second cookbook.
Oh, that sounds great.
It hasn't been fully put onto the shelves yet because that's another one that Dad hasn't vetted yet. And as if summoned from down the banister, down the spiral staircase banister, Sam just... You're talking about your second book, finally? You know Dad hasn't said... But it's good! He said the food was good himself if he liked spicy, which, okay, he doesn't, but... Sam... Sam is like, maybe if we put our heads together and are just really, really good, we can convince her to sell you a trial copy? Sam.
Would be happy to be a consultant in that kind of capacity.
And Alice kind of leans in and goes, look, I know you're shy about this, but selling a copy now without it being on the shelves looking at you will probably make you feel a little better because that's broken the ice. Now, actually, to spare you somewhat, because I know that Clarity's charisma is good, but Alice's charisma is... So I am going to roll a persuasion check with advantage because Clarity is helping. Because of fucking course. She wavers for a minute, being like, Dad is already yelling about the mixing... about the measuring cups and spoons. Wait, but he hasn't been yelling at me. I was the one who talked to you. Yeah, but he always yells at me. But you're the little sister. I know. Well, I can see how you can't sell a copy of that book, but I'm sure there's something upstairs that I don't know. Cherie is we've clearly caught on to this. Barnabas and I would be perfectly happy to be shown some more Amberian specialties, because I'm going to be cooking for him at some point in the not too distant, and Amberian's as close as he can get to home, so if Lila would be so kind as to describe in great detail some of the Amberian food cookbooks you recommend. And you can see her being like, I'm being got around, but yeah, okay. And Sam is like, right, well, I guess I have the cash desk, which means that because it's not really out there yet, and I really shouldn't be doing this, we're going to be looking at 2 gold. I'll be right back.
Absolutely.
I'll be right back. And literally, because you'd swear this guy has boots of haste. And it's basically Secrets of the Agwe People by Lila Enderby. And yeah, it is basically a Filipino cookbook. And Alice is, well, if sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander, and actually puts 3 gold down. And comes back with a copy for her. Thank you.
And Clarity gives also 3 gold.
Well, it was originally going to be 1 gold, so I'll keep 2 as a finder's fee, and she gets extra still too. So yay! And yeah, Cherie and Barnabas are. I mean, Barnabas is not that much of a cook, as far as I can tell. He enjoys food, but might partially be because of the mystery of how people make it. But the recipes look familiar, but different enough to be this is not mine, but actually this seems I can see why that didn't work quite as well, or I can see why this would work better.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, Cherie comes back to the counter with Lila and with a stack of Amberian cookbooks, which she kind of has to get Barnabas to hold because she is not overly strong at that point. When she's paid for them all, she actually gives a couple each to Hazel and Alice. You seem to be the cooks of the area. A couple of those, Hazel, are going to be for your parents. You're going to make sure that he has the things he likes. Yes, ma'am. Now, back through the burgers, and we'll cast our votes, I think, because we hopefully won't be going back out this evening, and have a conversation about what you all are going to do now. So yeah, back through and pick up your various dinner burgers. And Alice picks out a few that she thinks the twins would like. Michigan kind of has to be, and has had to be, restrained every time Hazel comes too close to a stall. Delicious. It's literally just holding him in the griffin bag, or snugging him, or both.
It's like, you tried to escape and back into position.
Delicious.
I know, but we can't get into every single one. You would explode.
That look from Michigan is, I want to test the theory.
You.
He is far too much like you.
All I'll say is I'm getting a Michigan bag of burgers. You're just gonna have to tell him to be patient. Delicious.
From Snug, just holding up like this. You are getting your own personal bag of this stuff. Just wait, and you'll get more.
Clarity probably knows this look better than almost anybody, although Hazel has Noop, so has probably recognizes it too. It's not quite as much fun if I haven't stolen it, but okay.
This time, you go with the bag, okay? Back into Snug and Scritches.
Snug. So yeah, the various votes are cast. Alice actually debates for a little while and then casts her vote for the for the spicy burgers, because of course she fucking does.
Mm-hmm.
Cherie stays out of it, just on the basis that I can't show favoritism. Does anybody else want to cast a vote specifically, or?
I feel like mine's obvious.
Yes, yours is obvious.
Same here. Mine is probably also distinctly obvious.
Not necessarily, no. You've had too much enjoyment at too many.
Yeah,
Because you see, I'm between Clarity's or the spicy burger.
See, I have to give it to Spicy because
Spicy.
Clarity's granted the vote to that one.
Yeah, and Alice granted the vote to the spicy already.
What? Oh, god damn it. Now that makes the decision a bit more difficult. Because if Alice did that, now I have to flip a coin.
No, Barnabas is going to go for Clarity's. It was the most impressive, most interesting out of all of them.
Fair enough.
Okay, yeah, then that opens up at least some level of leeway. So
it means that if you vote for the spicy, it evens out.
Yeah, that's sort of the idea.
Okay.
I gotta get my vote in before things start skewing, and I get regret.
I'm imagining that for Rylan, it's either the mushroom, the meat that isn't, or maybe the venison, maybe.
I mean, my vote was going to be for the mushroom place.
I had a feeling, but it's nice. It's nice to offer options.
Fair.
I'm figuring Remy just drops it in the first one that comes to mind, honestly.
Yes.
So I'm just going to say the mega meaty one, because fuck it, why not? And
That sounds appropriate.
Ava, what, the venison ones, or?
For the memories it brought back.
Yep. Fair enough. And so, yeah, you wander off with the back to the bone orchard with Alice carrying an awful lot of bag, one of hers, one for Niala, one for Alana, one for Michigan. And when you... I mean, they seem to have de-trapped the house now. So they clearly know that things are a little safer now. But who's the first one in into the house?
Barnabas, why not?
Okay,
Roll Dex.
no, actually, there's more. What's your AC?
Oh.
Uh-oh.
That's
18, isn't it?
Yep.
I remember. Great. But this is a gestalt rogue ranger. You are hit in the face with a pillow. So you open
Go
the
ahead.
door, step in. Where the hell have you been? You didn't tell them that you were spending the night at Hearthhome.
I'll have some lettuce if you have any lettuces available for me.
Are you literally falling over?
No, it's a pillow.
Good, okay. I'm just making sure because you'd probably crush Cherie if you did.
Hard that probably hit him.
It's one of those. He's saying nothing. He's like, nope, not my. I took the pillow. I did my job. It's all on you.
Yeah, Alana is sort of leaning in a doorway, kind of just peeking out and going, she's getting her worried on. Somebody answer her question before she gets angry.
Okay.
Yes, the question to remind you all was, where the hell have you been?
We forgot.
I took
Damn it.
half time and then I had to swing my other race. And yeah, we forgot to. Sorry about that.
If you guys are gonna go and not, like, stay the night here while you're still here, when the last thing I heard about you planning to do was take on a fucking vampire, could you at least let me know so I don't have to worry about your dumbasses?
Sorry again.
Will do.
Alice is like, I have burgers for both of you.
Peace off.
I'm really glad I thought about that now. And Alana's like, oh, the market challenge is burgers? Oh, did somebody get those ones from the halflings from Almaver that they'll never tell me how to make them? Yes, I figured you'd like those. I just picked everything Hazel liked.
I'm just gonna open bag. I'm looking to release Michigan.
Yeah, problem is when you release Michigan heads straight for Alice and her multiple bags.
Hey, wait!
And what basically happens is yeets the bags in Niala's general direction. Niala catches them because that's Dex for days. And
Because that was gonna happen.
delicious plate. Loaf. And chucks towards the sofa and loaf.
Thank you.
Firm. And Yala's like, okay, I'm gonna get plates for you yahoos. And within a couple of minutes, there's plates for your burgers, and Alana has put together a salad, and so, you guys don't get scurvy. So I'm assuming the vampire bullshit went well. Ish.
Mostly.
She's dead anyway.
Mostly.
Yeah, ish is the right way to say it.
Effectively, we have to find that Jessamy bitch.
Who has gone apparently full erinynes at this point, along with an entire gaggle of our allies.
Okay, now, I'm not privy to 100% of this, but between them and all the deaths, yeah, there's like 2 were going to be cadets but never quite got that far, thankfully for them, and me. So, do you know what she was doing? Why? Rather, apart from just like being petty?
We
We do. I'm just looking to. First. I'm looking to Alizé just to gauge current state of yeesh.
Insight check.
Before I say anything, just to make sure.
I haven't done deception in a while. Yes, I forgot. Actor feat, insane charisma. Yeah, you're usually pretty insightful. You can tell nothing.
Okay. Don't know how much of this is about to be a foot in mouth moment. But what we've found out is that she's using all of those souls, along with captured divine sunlight, as essentially a anti-god bomb.
And Alizé is specifically what the vampire said while we were interrogating her. Thank you, by the way, Cherie. Was that the souls are technically already destroyed. They've been reduced down to life energy, celestial life energy. And given who and what you are, you'll probably have heard of the quick flight diminutives and what they've done in the southern lands. And Alana is, I still want to know how they did that. Yes, so did Jessamine. But since she couldn't figure it out, she put it together through blood magic bullshit and fuck only knows what else. And we don't know if it's specifically going to be an anti-god bomb. It apparently could hurt a god. What it's supposed to deal with is the soul taint. They tried to make the same kind of cleansing bomb that the quick flight diminutives did. But because they didn't have the instructions or the means or both, I don't know, or maybe she was just that petty about it. So she used Azamar life energy and divine sunlight instead. Do we know how long it's going to take for her to use that in a explosive device? No, but that's why we're probably going to be looking for her tomorrow.
Because she's guaranteed to, since she doesn't have the full instructions or any like actually sane reasoning at this point. She's pointing it at technically the same threat, but she's going to cause so many knock-on effects. We don't know what that's going to do if it goes off. And she certainly doesn't. She thinks she knows what it's going to do, but it's not what Mom and Mama had made. And it's at a level that it could impact a deity. So whether she throws it at Tiamat or at some source of the soul taint anywhere in the other planes, she could tear a hole in reality. Several holes in reality. It's too much power for someone that petty and that insane.
She is also not particularly. I'm not particularly sanguine about the idea that of what would happen if Zariel and or Asmodeus took it off her.
Because guarantee you, they'd probably throw it at their primary opponents.
So your primary objective here is to get some sleep so that you don't look like complete shit, and then try to find Jessamy.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, you bunch of yahoos get some sleep. I'll look over some maps. And Lana, you're not going to let me be the spot. No. We don't know what those fuckers are eating. We just know they're probably in the sewers. So send friends. Oh, fine.
Friends?
I can conjure rats and then I can talk to them. Can I have my little friend? Oh no, wait, no, my little friends don't actually make droppings. Nuts. Could I coax some real ones in there? Niala's giving her the look. Okay, fine. Fine. But you better narrow stuff down. I will do that before you summon friends. Eat. I'll make you some tea. And then go get some sleep. You all look fucked. And barring anything else, because we are at about that time, that is what you all are going to do. We will wrap for the session with Shuri is happy for Barnabas to stay over at hers, because even a house that size, they're starting to run out of room at this point, and Shuri is generally up early enough to, get everybody up and get you there, so yeah, Alice is perfectly happy to be catching up on sleep because, yeah.
Yeah.
And in 2 weeks' time, we'll see what the Mobius twins can offer and what y'all plan to do about a whole pack of erinynes. There he is.